Once a village there, Batstow, for mining in the Pine Barrens, and nothing was open. But yeah, this is still COVID times, folks. 2021. Um, so nothing was open, and it was off season. It was October, and it was midweek. So I believe on the weekends in October they still have like uh, exhibits and stuff open. But it was still cool to walk around and see. We then drove back into the Pine Barrens and we hiked for another 3 miles. After that, we went to Valenzano Winery, Valenzano Winery, where we had a glass of their wine. Good wine. Stop in. That fire pits outside, the gas-fired fire pits, which were keeping us warm. It was chilly. We then stopped at Russo's Farm and Vegetable Farm. Wow. This place is huge. We bought a bunch of different things. We then headed back to the rig, cooked up some salmon on the grill. The next day, we packed up, headed up north to Princeton, New Jersey. So we left that Boondocker Welcome location. We drove to our second one. This is the gentleman that had the dump, and he also had 30 amp. So when we pulled in, we met our host, got set up. I dumped the tanks. We had 4 nights on the tanks. Filled up with fresh water. We chose this location for a couple of reasons. One, it's really close to Trish's aunt and cousins. And the other reason it is close to where my brother Mike and his wife Jen used to live. Then they're now down in Florida. Hey guys, love yous. So when we got to this Boondockers Welcome location, I had plugged in the EMS and it gave a fault reading of reverse polarity. I talked to our host. He said he's never had an issue with it. He had an EMS system. He plugged it in. It showed fine. We took out a voltmeter and checked to see if the polarity of the wires was switched, and it wasn't. So I contacted Progressive Industries to file a warranty claim. They have free replacement for their stuff as long as you don't destroy it. So I filed a claim and we'll see what happens. I'll let you know. Our first EMS surge protector lasted about 3.5 years, and then it just conked out in a rainstorm earlier this year. I think it was like April or May. So from there, I contacted them. They mailed me a new one. This was the new one. So this is, let's call it May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. So this is being recorded on the 26th, which is Tuesday, and I sent it off to them on, I believe it was Thursday. So it stayed there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Yeah, so I sent it into them Thursday, and I still haven't heard from Progressive Industries. We'll see what happens, and I'll let you know. So we just plugged in without our EMS system because it wouldn't let electricity through. I knew that the receptacle was fine. The campground receptacle, that might have been fine also. Who knows? Um, so getting back to my brother Mike and his wife Jen, they used to live here in Princeton, and they loved a bar down there. So we figured we would stop by and give a toast to Mike and Jen. But after we got plugged in with the rig, we headed over to the DNR Canal. It's the Delaware Raritan Canal. We hopped on our tandem bike and rode for about 5 miles. We stopped, had sandwiches and a glass of wine, and then rode back to the car. So about 10 miles or so. It was a little chilly, but a little warmer than it had been the previous couple of days, so that wasn't too bad. So before so years back, we had visited Mike and Jen. They took us to this place, the Tiger's Tail in Princeton. I'll put a link in the show notes to the bar and restaurant. Phenomenal food. They had been going there for I think close to 20 years on a regular basis. So they introduced us to this bar years back when we were visiting them, and we really liked it too. So we stopped in, we toasted Mike and Jen. It was bittersweet not being able to sit there with them, but we met a bunch of the staff who knew them. They shared some wonderful memories with us of Mike and Jen. So really, really nice, very touching. So the next day, we went over and visited Princeton University. We walked around the grounds for over 3 hours, looking at a lot of the architecture. All the buildings was closed with COVID, but the architecture is just unbelievable. I got some pictures of walking around on the campus. We saw Einstein's house. Not Eisenhower's Stein. We saw Einstein's house. And got a picture of that. So again, over on Instagram if you want to see the pictures. We stopped at Jammin' Crepes, a crepe place down there, which was delicious. We then drove about a half hour to a local winery, and we went inside. We saw the prices of their wines, and they had first of all, they had a whole list of things that you weren't allowed to do, like bring your dogs. And we don't have a dog, but still. You couldn't bring any food or drink with you at all, not even a bottle of water, because they sold bottles of water. So that kind of put us off. Then we got there and we saw that the lowest price for a bottle of wine was like $20. So we then hopped back in the Jeep and we went and stopped at the canal path for a short walk. Went back to the rig. We cooked some shrimp and asparagus wrapped in prosciutto on the grill. And the next day, we met Trish's aunt and cousins and one of their sons. Really, really nice. It turns out they were like 20 minutes to the Boondocker Welcome location. So we sat there, had a nice dinner with them, caught up for a few hours. Really, really nice. Great spending time with family. Especially during these COVID times, it's hard, trying to get together with people. Everybody has their own beliefs on what's okay and not okay, and so we hadn't seen them in about 2 years. We were trying to figure, so probably about 6 months before COVID started, and we all agreed that 2 years was too long of a time. So the next day, or after that, we went back to the rig. The next day, we dumped again. This way we had empty tanks going home. We took local roads. It was going to take 2 hours going across Route 1 to the Garden State Parkway North to the New York State Thruway. And we put in avoid highways into our GPS. It took us, obviously, on all local roads. It added 15 minutes to our trip. So 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it saved us $12 in tolls. Unbelievable. So we got home, unpacked, and got settled in. Now we're sitting in the middle of a nor'easter, pouring rain, wind, cold. Oh well, it's October. We're in New York. All right, I think that's all I have. I had replaced the leveling motor, the hydraulic pump motor on the rig after our last trip when it failed, and the whole time on this trip, the levelers worked better than they ever had. If you have automatic levelers, you can push a button and they automatically levels you. When we first got this rig, it would never level it. It would say that it was level, but it was way off level. So I would just manually use the buttons and level it. And actually, it's a lot faster to do it that way anyway. And I would use a physical level in my hand. I put it on the floor to show that we were level. I tried calibrating our leveling system numerous times. It would keep the memory of where level was for about a day or two, and then it would lose it. So now with this new motor, there must have been a short in it or something, and I calibrated it after I put the motor in. It levels perfectly, evenly, automatically. So there you go. Just wanted to give you an update on that. Alright, so we have a list of things to do while we're home, and we are figuring November, maybe heading out to Pennsylvania and visiting some friends, maybe upstate New York, who knows. But it's getting to be late October, and we'll see how it all unfolds. So until then, be well, drive safe, smile and laugh if you can, and if you can't, fake it. Smile anyway. Enjoy life, everybody. Life is too short, that's for sure. Alright, till next time, drive safe, be well, and talk to you soon.